If you've been hearing the buzz about sunlight and wondering what it really has to do with your energy, your mood, your hormones, and even your consciousness, you're in the right place. We've been taught to think health is about food, workouts, and supplements. But what if the real lever is something even more basic? It's not a new product, and it's not another protocol. But light, specifically sunlight. It's because your body doesn't just respond to light, it's organized by it. Light sets your timing, timing shapes your hormones, hormones shape your energy, and energy shapes everything. Your mood, your clarity, your immune system, your ability to heal. Today, we're going to explore what sunlight is really doing inside you, why circadian rhythm is your operating system, how mitochondria turn that signal into ATP, and why this is where biology starts to touch quantum science in a way that's not complex, but functional. And by the end, you'll understand why so many people feel foggy, tired, inflamed, anxious, or just not themselves anymore. Because it's not only what we're eating, it's the signal we're living inside. Before we talk science, I want you to remember this. You are deeply connected to the sun, to the earth, to the rhythm that holds all life. And when your body starts receiving the right light, something in you starts remembering who you are. Therefore, a lot of the science in this video is inspired by the work of a few brilliant voices in light biology and quantum health. Links are in the description. My job here is simple: to take hours of complicated conversations and translate them into something you can actually understand and apply. Most of us were taught to think of the body like a machine. Put food in, burn it for fuel, add supplements when something breaks. But Dr. Courtney Hunt describes a very different picture, one where the human body has evolved as an antenna for light, interacting with the electromagnetic field through eyes and skin. And that changes the entire frame. Because if the body is an antenna, then health isn't only chemistry. Health becomes signal integrity. You don't just have a body. You are receiving instructions constantly from your environment, especially light. This is where the biology starts touching quantum science. Hunt explains that the DHA molecule, especially in the retina, can't be fully explained by classical physics alone, and that quantum coherence and tunneling may be involved in how energy moves across it. And then she says something that should stop you in your tracks. This would mean we are quantum entangled with light, or the electromagnetic field. So when I say you are made of light, I'm not saying it as poetry only. I'm saying it as a literal organizing principle. Your biology is designed to take in light information and translate it into human function. And this is where I want to bring in Dr. Jack Kruse, because he speaks about the body in a way that's surprisingly simple, as a battery, not in a mechanical way, but as a reminder that you have a certain capacity to hold energy, regulate stress, and stay coherent. And when the signal is distorted, light, timing, environment, your charge slowly drops. And I love that framing because it makes this simple. If you've been feeling off, it doesn't mean you're broken. It may just mean your system is running on a weaker signal than it was designed for. And the good news is, the body knows how to recover when you give it the right inputs again. So let's start with the first input. Your biology listens to every day. Light. And the timing of light. Now let's connect one of the most important dots. Your body runs on timing. Light sets the clock in your brain. When light enters the eye and hits the retina, it creates a neural spark that regulates the SCN in the hypothalamus via the retinohypothalamic tract. This controls circadian rhythm. The SCN is described as the body's core pacemaker, like a clock, regulating hormone release, metabolism, and even mitochondrial function. And to make the point really clearly, disconnection from the 24-hour signals of light and dark dramatically increases disease. So your circadian rhythm isn't a wellness concept, it's an operating system. Light is how your body knows what time it is, and your body's ability to heal depends on knowing what time it is. This is also why Kruse gets so intense about the modern environment. Because if you manipulate light, especially if you flood nights with artificial light and remove mornings from the body, then you don't just mess up sleep. You destabilize timing, and timing destabilizes everything downstream. Here's the simplest way to understand it. Light tells your brain what time it is. Your brain tells your body what phase it's in. Your body schedules everything based on that phase. So the deeper health question isn't only, what did I eat today? It's also, what time does my body think it is? And what signals am I giving it without realizing it? Because once timing gets restored, the body begins to stabilize from the top down. And one of the most important timing messengers in that stabilization is leptin. Most people have only heard leptin described as an appetite hormone, but it's bigger than that. Leptin is more like an energy accountant, your body's way of reporting to the brain, here's our status, here's what we have, here's what we can spend, here's how safe and resourced we are. And in this framework, leptin isn't just responding to food, it's responding to the environment, especially light and timing. When mornings are missing, when nights stay bright, when the signals get scrambled, leptin signaling can get distorted. And when leptin gets distorted, everything downstream starts wobbling. Hunger and cravings, sleep quality, metabolism, stress chemistry, and that sense of feeling off even when you're trying. So before we obsess over macros and perfect diets, we have to ask the simpler question. Is your body receiving the signals that allow leptin and the rest of your system to do its job? So the deeper health question isn't only, what did I eat today? Now let's continue into what's happening inside every cell. Your mitochondria are often described as energy producers, but they're more than that. They're sensors. They respond to the environment, and light is a major part of that environment. The day-night cycle influences how mitochondria function, how they produce energy, how they balance stress signals, how they maintain themselves, and even how they recycle damaged parts. That means your mitochondria don't just need nutrients. They need correct timing. Now we go deeper. Hunt describes mitochondria as sensors of the external environment, part of that environment being light. And she explains that day-night cycles regulate mitochondrial biogenesis, fission and fusion, reactive oxygen species, respiration, basically the rhythm of how your cells generate energy and maintain themselves. Mitochondria use electrons from food to create ATP, and ATP is the body's currency of energy and information transfer. Read that again. ATP isn't just fuel, it's information currency. It's how order is maintained inside the living system. And she takes it further. Biology used to think the nucleus was the commander of the cell because DNA was in charge. But Hunt explains researchers are realizing mitochondria produce the ATP that controls nuclear expression of DNA, meaning mitochondria are actually the source of control, not the nucleus. So, if you want to influence your genes, you don't start by trying to hack DNA. You start by improving the energy and timing system that tells DNA what to do. This is also where Hunt and Kruse overlap perfectly. They both keep pointing back to the environment as the real lever. Epigenetics is the interface between environment and gene expression, foods, stress, drugs, illness, and even ancestral exposures. In other words, your biology is constantly reading the room. Light is the loudest voice in that room. So if your mitochondria are out of rhythm, your energy becomes inconsistent. And when energy becomes inconsistent, your entire system becomes less coherent. Your mind can feel scattered. Your mood can feel fragile. Your stress threshold can shrink. Your healing can slow down. And this is why this conversation belongs in both health and consciousness. Because when your energy production stabilizes, your life experience changes. You don't just feel healthier, you become clearer, more present, more yourself. Now let's talk about the piece most people reduce to a single supplement. Vitamin D. Yes, vitamin D matters. But the deeper truth is that sunlight does far more than create a lab number. Your skin is not passive tissue. It's a communication organ. It communicates between the outside environment and your nervous system, your endocrine system, and your immune system. So when light hits your skin, it's not just warming you up, it's triggering signaling cascades. Now let's connect sunlight to the actual control panel of the body. Hunt says the skin is a communicator between the outside environment and the nervous, endocrine, and immune systems. She calls it a complex neuroendocrine system, producing neuroimmune constituents like serotonin, nitric oxide, neuropeptides, meaning sunlight doesn't just make vitamin D, it signals multiple systems at once. She specifically mentions UV stimulation impacts POMC pathways, and that POMC is involved in dopamine regulation. This is where the mood and motivation conversation comes in, because you're not just sad or lazy. You may be living in a distorted light environment that changes the neurochemical tone of your system. Then, she delivers one of the most useful practical reframes. Your vitamin D level is a marker for the light you've received, and vitamin D is made in the skin by UVB during midday sunlight. When UVB is available, all other wavelengths are available too, so vitamin D becomes a marker of the full light spectrum you received. Therefore, there's a line that flips a lot of old conditioning. The body uses LDL in the skin as part of the vitamin D process, which means the story is not LDL is always bad. The story is context. Biology is more intelligent than simplified narratives. And this is where melatonin matters. Sleep is where your system rebuilds, and melatonin is one of the strongest signals that tells the body, now we repair. So catch the sunset when you can, and then dim your home after sunset so melatonin can rise and your biology can recover. So real health isn't just more sun, it's correct sun and correct dark, light by day, darkness by night. That rhythm is not optional, it's how your biology stays coherent. Let's talk about something a lot of people are experiencing, but they don't always have words for. It's that sense of feeling a little off, like you're showing up, you're doing life, but you're not fully you. Your energy isn't steady, your mind isn't as clear, and the motivation you used to have feels harder to access. It's like the system is running, but it's running on low power. That's a signal problem. Modern life has layered multiple kinds of noise onto the human system, and it matters because it's rarely one single thing that makes someone feel off. It's usually a stack of small distortions that add up over time. It can look like bright screens and artificial light at the wrong hours. It can look like living indoors most of the day while missing the morning signal your brain is waiting for, and then staying overstimulated at night when your body is trying to downshift. And it can look like an environment that never fully matches what our biology was designed for. So your nervous system is constantly compensating, even when you don't realize it. The reason this matters is simple. Your body is designed to regulate, filter, and restore itself every day. It has built-in systems meant to keep the internal environment clean and balanced. But when the signal is messy and the stimulation never really stops, those systems can slow down. Not because your body is failing, but because it's trying to do too much without the conditions it needs. That's why people can feel toxic without having the words for it. It's often the body carrying too much while trying to operate inside a distorted rhythm. And when metabolic signaling gets distorted, especially around satiety and appetite regulation, people can lose the natural feedback loops that keep the system steady. So the first move isn't force. The first move is coherence. You restore the signal, you restore the timing, and then your biology becomes capable again, because the cleaning and repair side of the system is built into the rhythm of day and night. If you want a clean first step, one that doesn't overwhelm you, start with the simplest reset your biology understands. For the next 2 weeks, make morning light your non-negotiable. Go outside as soon as you can after waking, even on a cloudy day, even if it's just 5 minutes. Let natural light reach your eyes. This is how you set your internal clock. It tells your brain, this is morning, and it starts organizing everything downstream. And as much as you can, don't let your phone be the first light source your nervous system meets. Cut the screen time first thing in the morning and choose daylight instead, even briefly. 5 minutes is better than nothing. Consistency is what matters. Then protect the other end of the day. At night, dim your environment and give your brain real darkness. Start pulling back from blue light at least an hour before bed, more if you can, so your system can actually shift into repair mode and make the chemistry it needs for deep rest. Do that for 2 weeks before you add anything else, because your body isn't asking for more force. It's asking for coherence, the kind that happens when the light signal is clean and your timing comes back online. Before you go, just breathe for a second and feel what this actually means. You are not separate from life. You're not cut off from the field. You're a living receiver of light, an intelligent body, a luminous nervous system, a soul having a human experience inside a world that's constantly speaking in frequencies, timing, and signal. And if this resonated for you, if it brought clarity or a quiet remembering, type signal in the comments. It really helps me know what's working. If you want to support this channel as it grows, please like this video and subscribe. It tells the algorithm to keep sharing this kind of work, and it helps me keep bringing more clarity, more truth, and more light-based understanding into your awareness. Thank you for being here. I'm grateful you spent this time with me, and I hope you felt how connected you truly are to the sun, to the earth, to the rhythm that holds all life. May your inner light feel a little brighter now, even in the smallest way. With awe always. See you soon.